from feedback I've got on LinkedIn from you guys. One of my friends, Jerry Pelletier, said, "Hey, how about loopback?" And I'm like, it gave me pause. I'm like, goodness gracious, loopback is not easy to put on this. Well, here it is, loopback. But long story short is, the loopback is extremely useful for especially voiceover people. Well, even people that do podcasts, let's say solo casting, one person podcast, because with the loopback, if you're on a live session, let's say Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams, Source Connect, by using loopback, you can play back from your computer to the people that are online on the call with you something you recorded previously, right? So it could be, let's say, on an interview to get a gig, and you can say, "Hey, listen to this real quick," and then you can play that previously recorded audio to the person who's online at that moment. So it's super useful. But like I said, with the as far as the technicalities goes, design work like electrical design, it was not easy to put that on the original MikeHero. So it required a new platform. So they look about the same, but really this guy here is actually pretty much entirely new. It has a DSP, which is this chip that does sound processing on the fly. And with that feature request, loopback, many benefits came from this new platform. All right, so let me show you a little bit about it one by one. I think one thing that is like not exactly, oh wow, but quite useful is that the original Hero only had this clip LED. So when that's blinking, you're very close to peaking and, let's say, losing your recording, right? When it chops off the audio, it clips. Not a good thing. But if it's within reasonable levels, the light was just off, right? But with the DSP version, we have something a little more sophisticated. The level, as you can see, I'm actually using one right now to record this audio. You're literally hearing me through this. So if I'm quiet, the level is off because it's like 0. But it will go anywhere from green all the way to red. So if I speak very loudly, as you can see, it went to red. So it's just a little better feedback. Okay, so you saw it going to red, but probably didn't peak at all. You probably didn't notice a distortion, which, it would have been the case otherwise. And that leads up to the other feature. So you see, I have this limiter set. I'm going to grab the one that I'm not using right now just for the sake of practicality. But, oh, not that. This one. This is the limiter. As you can imagine, and that's what I try to draw to the best of my ability here to try to make it, let's say, intuitive, is that it does not let you peak. So if you have it on level 1, which is the green light, it's got 3 levels. So it goes from green, orange, red light. By touching it, you select that. On the first level, it does not interfere with your voice or the dynamics of your recording whatsoever. So it's like it's not there, except that if in a unfortunate moment you just exceed the levels and you would lose your recording without this feature, this will not allow that to happen. It will save your recording. So I personally find that very useful. You can turn it off, but I would always recommend it to be on level 1 green if you're really conservative, let's say, right? So if you don't want to process the audio too much, compress the audio, by all means use that on green, and it can save your recording. It must be the most frustrating thing to lose a recording over having like 2 seconds of audio that went over the level, 0 dB level. So that's limiter, that's new. The other thing that got a little more sophisticated is the D-pop, which is a high pass filter. Basically what that does is the way I've set this up, it works as if it is like a digital windscreen for your microphone. Right now I'm using my Sennheiser 416. Let me present it to you right here. Okay. No pop filter. And, it's probably pretty good on the plosives right now. I have my Depop on level 1. As you can see, the green light. It also has 3 levels. Sorry for the email just came in. But basically what that does is cleans off the plosives, and it does a good job at that. Again, it's one of those things, if you set it to green, it does not interfere with your voice. Orange, it basically doesn't still, except for men with very, very low voice. Not the case for me. So I'm good to go with the orange. Ladies with the orange, no problem whatsoever. And the red setting, which I will put here just for fun, might remove a little bit of the bass for men, but again, for girls, for ladies, this will not interfere with their voice either, but it will completely eliminate plosives. So if you're traveling and you don't want to carry a windscreen with you, that is handy. All right, next up is the EQ, which, the previous one did have an EQ, 2 levels of it, like 1 and 2, off, 1 and 2, right? But these are very different EQs. This one here is that smile curve, like just does that curve. Adds bass and treble essentially, and not really sophisticated. I say it's quite usable, but it's not spectacular. Now on here, you actually have 3 levels. So you cycle, same thing, green, orange, and red. And currently I'm using orange, so I'm using quite an aggressive EQ right now. Why I'm using the EQ? Because my voice honestly is not the greatest, and it's not a rich voice by nature. So this definitely enriches your voice. Also, it's a parametric EQ, not a shelving EQ. So it's not that smile-like curve. It's actually more intentional, let's say, the way this is set up. And it removes some of that room reverberation. Very positive effect, especially on untreated rooms. So if you like the way this sounds right now, it's got that pretty aggressive EQ. I'll turn it off just so you have an idea the difference. Okay, so now this has no EQ and probably not as fun. Level 1, level 2, and level 3 is a little exaggerated, but it's there if you really want to sound real big on a podcast, for example. Why not? People do that all the time. No judgment. Okay, back to where I like it. Sweet. Now, this feature here, the denoise, is one I'm very proud of. I honestly was not expecting to be able to pack that into this little guy here. This is usually reserved for high dollar stuff, Apollo and those super high-end audio interfaces. But the thing is, the denoise on this product, I think it's actually a great addition. Why? Because the MikeHero, even though it's a great interface for you to have on your home studio as a fixed thing, you don't have to use it mobile necessarily, but it's very small and people do love to take this on the go, road trips and stuff, right? So it's not uncommon that people are recording voiceover in their hotel rooms or the back seat of their car, and the denoise does a absolutely great job at, well, as the name suggests, removing especially ambient noise like HVAC, traffic, fridge running, that sort of thing. So right now, I believe you're getting like a really clean audio. I'll turn it off, and if you have headphones on, you'll be able to notice the difference right away, I believe. So I'll just go ahead and turn it off. Yeah, this is completely off. This is a untreated room. There's a little bit of a hissing from my computer cooler, not the Mac, but I have another one running here. I bet you can hear it. Now if I turn it on, and now unlike the other ones that got 3 levels for each, this one has 4 levels, and the blue being the ultra setting, And if I'm quiet now, even though my room is untreated and it has a little bit of stuff going on here, you will notice that the background noise is basically zero, like pretty much dead. So I'll stay quiet for a second and take a listen. Now I'll go ahead and turn it off, and then you take a listen. So let's take a listen. I'll just turn it off as I'm quiet. Big difference, right? So I'll put on setting 2. I think for this particular recording that I'm doing right now, this is very handy. And of course, I can always lock the touch. And now, no more. I can even stick it in my pocket. It'll be okay. So there's this touch lock button for that very function. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, right? Cool. Now the next thing up that, let me put this down. Okay, here we are. Sweet, done. Sweet. The next thing that so this here is the original one, and as a portable interface, it's just fine. But let's say if you have a computer and you have monitor speakers, active speakers, I can think of those studio monitors, and you have those hanging by the screen of your computer. If you connect your amplified speakers, your monitor speakers on the headphone output, the issue you're gonna run into is that whenever your microphone is open, right, it's not unmuted, you will get microphone feedback if the speakers are loud enough, which they don't have to be very loud, honestly. So just get that irritating feedback noise, and you cannot record with your speakers open. So you have to manually turn it on and off the speakers. It's just not ideal for a fixed installation. Well, because of that, I added another feature to the DSP version of the MikeHero, which is like the original one, you have 2 headphone outputs. So, you can have 2 people using it, sharing a microphone to record a podcast, for example. However, you see headphone only, and this one here says headphone or monitor. What that does is you have this little switch here that you can turn into a headphone output or a monitor output. And in case you have a monitor output, what that does is this. You can indeed have your monitor speaker connected over here, and you will not get microphone feedback. Why? Because during recording, the speaker will be basically shut off, but when you play back, you will listen to yourself through the speakers. Or, I'm sorry, I don't think I worded that the best way. During recording, you don't get the microphone out from the speakers, but when you play back, you do. So you can just use, let's say, you can plug monitor speakers on here, and then you can record your audition, play it back, and listen through those speakers, and it's seamless. You don't have to turn off the mic, you don't have to mute the mic. It's just, think of it as a second audio interface attached to your computer just for that one purpose. Because truly that's what it is. It's an entirely separate channel. So pretty sophisticated. Look at this baby face here. It packs a lot of punch. Yeah, it's just, you would never guess. So I figured it was a good idea to make the video. Am I forgetting anything here? I'm sure. Oh, the aux in. Sure, of course. That's a basic condenser microphone switch. I think we covered that. Have we? I don't know. Maybe. Well, and it generates phantom power too. It will make the 48 volt phantom power for your, let's say, Sennheiser 416 or large diaphragm microphone, and it runs off of your either computer or phone. Of course, in this case right now I'm using with my Mac, but I could just plug that into my iPhone or Android phone and do my gig. So my friends, I hope you like this. It's been a wonderful development effort with wonderful people. I'm so grateful for feedback I've gotten from you guys, and I'm really, really proud of this. I think, honestly, the difference between them in terms of price is not a lot. This currently is $199. but everything's going up a little bit in terms of my costs, so I might have to adjust that a little. But currently this is $199 and this is $289, $80 more, but I think this is a much more robust long-term use device. So yeah, hope you guys are doing wonderful, and thank you again for your time. This is Fernando. Take care. Have a good one.